Welcome to Toffee TV. Everton completed their mini tour of the US, the Florida Cup, with a 1-0 victory over Pumas in a pretty convincing victory, wasn't it? Bit just a shame we didn't score more goals because we created quite a lot of chances and it was a decent run out.
It was, yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that was disappointing, really, that we couldn't put the ball in the net more. We had all the opportunities. On another day, we'd have scored 6. They had a couple of chances themselves, obviously saving each half, really, wasn't it? One from Begovic in the first half and one from Jr in the second half. But yeah, you're right. It was quite convincing, really. But Everton did well.
Yeah. Do you think they might be a little bit disappointed with the standard of the opposition? You know, obviously it was slated beforehand. It should have been Inter Milan or Arsenal, and it would have been obviously a step up from the game before. Do you think they might be a little bit disappointed, or do you think the conditions? Because obviously it was overcast, but it was still very warm. You know, from the people we spoke to there, said it was very, very warm. So I think it was more about just getting the work out, or do you think he would have liked a higher intensity game?
I think he'd have been fine with it for the simple reason that it was basically 2 teams, wasn't it? Played a half each. So, yeah, while it would have been nice to face Inter Milan, you know, Arsenal, really asked about, but Inter Milan, it would have been nice to face them just because of the name and everything. But I think at the end of the day, they've gone and played 2 games of football in that heat over in Orlando. So, I mean, at one stage, it looked like it was just going to be the one game, the way things were going. Yeah. So they ended up with the 2 games. And I guess for him, it's just more about seeing what the players can do. And I think the biggest takeaway is something we've said before, is that we need more goals in this side. And I know 2 of the chief goal scorers for us haven't been involved yet because they've been international duties and stuff, but you want others to step up really there. So regardless of the opposition, we would have expected 3 or 4 goals last night, given the quality of chances we had. But I think he'll be quite happy with the fact that we played the 2 games. Everybody seemed to be okay, and it was in tough conditions. So he'll come back to the back here now, and the work will continue.
Yeah, as I said, we made loads of chances first half. Obviously, we had Gray, we had Townsend, we had obviously Moise Kean up front, and just that little bit of pace, really, the injection of pace, I thought worked really well. Just finding little pockets, seeing them using the crossfield pass as well, which with having a little bit of pace we could use to our benefit, and it just looked a little bit quicker, a little bit sharper, and obviously the goal was a good sign. It had a good through ball, and Moise Kean getting one-on-one with the keeper and putting it in on the second attempt, and just it just looked a little bit, it looks from that point of view, without it, obviously out those 2 players with Charles and Dom, it looked certainly like we can be more of a threat on the attack this season.
Yeah, the first half was definitely much better than the second half with the players we had, that little bit of pace. We had a chance. I mean, Moise Kean had a couple of chances in the opening 2 minutes, didn't he? One he struck on his chest and it's in, the keeper makes a save. And the other one, he just couldn't open his body up enough after Luca Dean did well. But we were lively. I mean, Damari Gray has impressed in both games, I think. Looks nice and lively. Got good feet, quick feet. And because there is that fast sharpness about it, it looks very un-Everton-like, what we've seen over the last few years. But when you think you can throw Dominic Calvert-Lewin in there and you can throw Richarlison in there, then it makes you think, well, we could be a real threat up there, but we still need to improve, like I said right at the start, the finishing, and just we seem to knock it around quite well, and there's nice sharp movements, but then just a little bit sloppy on the final thing, and you'd expect that in pre-season. But we had a couple of opportunities where we were obviously doing a watch-along and we're shouting, just shoot. Because on 2 or 3 occasions, Moise Kean, Alex Iwobi, even Damari Gray on one, they all had the opportunity to just have a go and he'd taken that.
And Iwobi had a great chance just before our time that he created himself, and it was a really good, we'd finish it off, you'd be looking at it going, that's a really good, really good goal, that.
I mean, we only seen it on the second attempt.
We did.
Because the camera went to show 2 minutes when he was in the box with the ball for some reason. But no, you're right. That was a good little move, and Iwobi did really well. He shifted it. And first it's just.
I think what we saw, certainly in that first half, because it was funny because the other night it was the second half that we looked better, and when we when we had a little bit more pace on the pitch, and there was a few more players on the same sort of wavelength because there is a little bit more pace on the pitch.
Yeah.
So you're seeing players, and listen, that can only benefit someone like Iwobi. I think going forward, having players who are quick, who will move into space. I think he's the kind of player who he's got an intelligent skill set. He just doesn't put it all together. But if he's got players around him who are fast, who can move into space, then I think that will make him a little bit better. But so I thought, all in all, we looked good in that first half. It is just that thing of we need more people to put the ball in the back of the net, and this is the ideal time with having no Richarlison and having no Dominic Calvert-Lewin, your chief providers of goals. You want someone, you want those players in the normal season to just step up and get comfortable doing that. So,
I'm sure that had a penalty as well.
Yeah, it was clear on ball, wasn't it? But it just would be nice to just see a few more people, and hopefully something we see during the season, just a few more people step up and start taking chances, because I do think we'll start making more chances, because I do think we'll be more of a threat. We've got pace, and naturally with any team with pace, you do as an opposition, you back off a little bit, and that opens up the pitch. As you said, there was one crossfield ball from right to left that Damari Gray kept in brilliantly, that you didn't think he was going to keep in, and it's stuff like that which helps you change up the game very quickly when there's nothing on. Just play it. We saw it in the first game. Quick ball over the top to Moise Kean. What can he do with it? And having those players now, we've got who are those width, having width with a little bit of pace. I do think we can spring teams a lot quicker. And that was always something we looked at last season, where you're trying to break, and there's a couple of players who've got the ability to break, and then there's nobody else. So
one of those players has got the ball. If you only got one player in support and everyone's 40 yards away, by the time they've joined in, everyone's back anyway. So I think one of the other things we saw as well, particularly in the first half, he lined up with a 4-2-3-1, and we had Iwobi in the 10. We had Andros Townsend on the left and Damari Gray on the right. And then Gray switched into the 10 and Iwobi went to the right. And then he finished the half by Iwobi being on the left and Townsend being on the right and Gray in the 10 as well. So all three of them had a little pop of different areas of the pitch with joining in with Moise Kean. And that was good because there were three fluid players as well. And we saw obviously Luca Dean, who had the longest he's had last night, getting up and down the pitch. Seeing him, he was effective in both halves really. Not so much on the right-hand side.
No, I mean, that's the glare enough. We know about that.
We know about that, so there was nothing there. But yeah, the first half was good. I mean, we Tom Davies and Andre Gomez in the the double pivot. But okay, we were all right.
But it seems to be, I mean, obviously from the games we've seen so far, that looks like that will definitely be his preferred setup. And obviously when you have got Allen and you have got a Decore or Gbamin in that too, it does allow those middle three to get up and down, interchange, but also drop in as well, because they've got the pace there, and hopefully that will help with pressing sides in there as well, and not leaving ourselves exposed. Because if you have got, this is why I go on about the right back, and I know we all do, but this is the difference, isn't it? When you've got a Luca Dean on the left and you see him joining in, and if you've got that on the right, then suddenly you've got two fullbacks who are almost playing like wingers, two wingers who can then come inside to support the striker. So that means you've got three up front. And then you've got, so you're talking about five attacking players. And then if one of your midfielders has got the ability to join in, one of those deep midfielders, whether it be Decore or say a Gbamin, allowing the other one to sit, maybe like an Allen, then suddenly you are getting more men in the box, because you can get up and down the pitch a lot quicker. And that's obviously what I think he's looking at. But that right back position is so key to that. And I know it's like a broken record, and they'll know that, of course. But it's so important why we need that. Why I feel like we need that player in as quickly as we can, because it could make a massive difference to the side. Just how we get up and down and
Balance,
having that energy and having, you know, being able to attack and almost be like that basketball style of playing that you see from the very best sides.
Balance, isn't it? That's all it is. We, you know, and that's, again, Seamus Coleman signed a new deal and we're delighted with that he'll still be part of the squad. But he said himself, even on his interview, he's like, no, I'm 33, so I understand that, you know, I'm not, you know, I can't do the things I could do 10 years ago. You know, but I'm going to be working hard and setting the standards and training.
Yeah.
I think he knows. I think he look at himself going, I can't run up and down like I used to and raid, you know, but I'm better. What he did say was he's better defensively. And I think we've seen that. His performances over the last couple of years, he's been really good. Like when he's had to do one like man-to-man and stuff like that.
Year, didn't we?
He's been, brilliant games. So, and that's great because there will be games where he actually will, it'll help us if he's playing rather than, but in terms of wanting to be an attacking unit, we are going to need someone who can fly up and down that right-hand side as well, because then it cuts off the, if it's not Luca Dean, if they just keep thinking they're going to feed Luca Dean, if he's edging up the pitch and you've got someone bombing the right, the switch is on.
Well, obviously in the second half we made a lot of changes, and obviously we had the likes of Nathan Broad and Anthony Gordon who came on. Didn't really have a true striker on the pitch in the second half. But obviously James Rodriguez playing, and again, you know, in the first game he was quite quiet, looks a little bit maybe off where they want him to be. In this game he looked a little bit quiet. He had one good chance where the keeper made a good save. I just wonder where, listen, it's up to now it's been all smiles and nice videos of him and stuff. But, you know, we're not stupid. We know he was the major draw for that tournament. To getting, you know, the South American,
everyone in, doesn't it?
You know, Colombian, whatever, to come and watch the game. I just wonder how that will now evolve, because it was all smiles, as I said. He was the draw. Now, where Everton would have been contractually obliged to have taken him there, and you know that's how the game is played. It's just going to be interesting now, because now I imagine Rafa Benitez, after having a look at him, will have to make a decision on him now. Does he fit? Not does he sell him, but does he fit in to what we've just spoken about? Having players who are interchangeable, who've got that pace, who will come in and help out, also join in, have that ability. And if he's not in that, then do you just go, well, there's no point you sitting on the bench for Everton if you're not going to be, if that's going to make you unhappy at this stage of your career, and if we can get money for you and bring someone in. So I do find that it is going to be interesting, I think, over the next few days to see how that works itself out.
Yeah, I can't sit here and advocate him going, because I still think he's world-class footballer. I think his touch is fantastic. I think his vision's incredible. But you're right, he's not looking as sharp as others. I think if he played in a number 10 off the striker, I think you can get away with it. And what I mean by get away with it is, I think his natural ability to drop into pockets and pick the ball up, if you've got runners right and left, I think he can be a huge weapon for us, because his vision's incredible. It seems to be the way Benitez is set up so far. The number 10, although he did play the number 10 against Millonarios.
Yeah.
And he was okay. But he then tried Damari Gray in the 10. And when Damari Gray was in the 10, it was a lot more fluid.
Do you think then there might be a case for, if he is fit, then actually, if you've got a number 9 and you have got a player either side, and you have got 2 fullbacks, and again, this is why I stress why that fullback position is so important, that are pushing on, that you can get away with them in there, because you've got 2.
Everyone's covering.
You've got 2 workers either side. You've got 2 fullbacks going either side of them, and you've got the centre forward.
Because don't forget, he can get on the ball on the edge of the box. I'd back him hitting target from the edge of the box. We haven't got anyone like that.
No.
You know, he's dead ball delivery. You know, you're talking about letting the player go, had 15 goal involvements last season. That's quite a lot, really, to see walk out the door.
100%.
if Milan wanted him, and someone like Rafa, who's been linked again today with Everton, was coming the other way kind of thing, who's obviously 21, 22 years of age, quick, can play anywhere across the front three, then you'd have to look at it and go, yeah, maybe then for the long-term benefits that would happen or whatever. I'm not saying that will happen, but maybe you'd look at it like that. But like I said, I can't sit here and say, yeah, James should go, because I think he's if you put the people around him, he can be the kingpin. That unlocks everything. But you're right, you do, to get the most out of him, you do need a flying right back, because if you imagine, we know that we need a right back. I think we still need Leon Bailey or someone like that, like a Chukwueze or Diaby, or someone who's really is like the level up from them. See, Damari Gray, just before we move on, has come in with low expectations. Cost 1.6 million quid. Looks really good. If he can get consistent, he is one of those players who you go, wow, he could be brilliant for us. It's whether he can get the consistency. He's got to get it now. He's not had it before, and he's 25. He's 25 a month ago. So he's in that now.
Do you think, let me just on that one, do you think, because this will seem a bit of a silly question, but do you think if he's got the ability to, or he's shown that he's the number one in his position, do you think that would make it better for him to get the consistency? Or do you think if you bring someone in and go, you can fight for your position, that would help him more? From what we've seen so far in his career.
Yeah, you might be right. Maybe he needs someone to go, actually, you're our like number one. And maybe that'll settle him down. He had that at Birmingham when he was young. He had at Birmingham, he played regularly and was very good, and that's why Leicester took him. And he's been in and out at Leicester because they tried different things. I've always thought he was dangerous, but another one who sometimes there's nothing from it. So all of the little runs and stuff, but you play him with better players. Not saying better than Leicester, but I mean playing with better players just anyway as he's getting older helps that, doesn't it? So possibly, I don't know. I still, it wouldn't stop me. Everyone, I imagine they're surprised now when I say wouldn't stop me still trying to get Leon Bailey, because I think what I've seen with Damari Gray is Benitez kind of likes him in that number 10. And if you think you had Richarlison and you had Leon Bailey, I'm going to use just for that example, and you've got Damari Gray and you've got Dom, then you've got a front four. You need your midfield to be disciplined, but all of a sudden you've got interchanging players. But if you then had James Rodriguez there sometimes, and you had Leon Bailey and you had Richarlison, and you're full, then all of a sudden you're looking and going, we can score in every game. Because we've got that. We can score in every game. How disciplined are we at the back?
I think he might play Richarlison as a number 10.
Well, he's another one. Right. And you've got this fella here, Andros Townsend, who's looked good. So already the options are up. Do I still think we need better level? But 100%, course, 100% we do. But the James one is an interesting one because he's got so much talent. You've got to use him the best way you can. I think out the two, Iwobi would be the one I'd get rid of.
That's a shock.
Yeah, but and that's not me not saying Alex Iwobi hasn't got talent, because I actually think he does. And I think what you said early on, having lots of players moving, he was at his best in a fluent Arsenal team. He wasn't amazing, but he was a good footballer in a fluent Arsenal team because they did move. He's come to an Everton team that hasn't really known what to do. Marco Silva got him off brands, or whether they got him together, who knows. But we wanted Wilf Sahar and we ended up with Alex Iwobi. And he come into Everton and he really should have just been given the number 10 at that time and gone, right, new era, let's do this. It hasn't happened for him, and we've ended up shoehorning him on the right, we've tried him on the left, we've tried him right back, and all of a sudden he's a player now that everyone's kind of
people have
lost the confidence in him. He's lost, I think, a bit of confidence, and you're looking now going, where does he play? Does he get in? So if you maybe had runners with him, then it might improve him, but if you're offering me out the two, then it'd be Alex Iwobi who I'd change out rather than James.
Second half was obviously a little bit bitty. wasn't it? It broke up by all the subs.
Probably got a grip. I thought the first 15 minutes they come into it strong.
And then we had a really good 10-15 minutes of making a lot of chances. Anthony Gordon on the left,
looking sharp,
doing good and just being simple. Keep getting the ball, beating the lad for pace at him every time, and then try to pull it back. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So that was good from him, just being a lot more incisive, direct and incisive. On the other hand, I thought Broadhead worked incredibly hard. He's obviously got really good movement. I don't think he's got bags of pace, but he's got the movement.
The movement's good.
To take advantage.
Technically, seems okay as well.
I think we spoke about it last night on when we did the watch along. There is that, and listen, a lot of that comes down to where we are at pre-season. But he has got that thing of because of his age. If he was 18, 19, you'd probably look at it and think, like Anthony Gordon, but being 23, you don't look at it the same way, and you're looking for that little bit of extra talent. Because there's been a couple of times, there was one the other night where he got one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and you want him to open his body up and give him the eyes or just curl it round him. And don't get me wrong, there's still like that with Moise Kean as well. That same with this goal. You wanted him to just do something, be really, really cool, but he didn't. He just hit it straight to the keeper and got lucky with the rebound. Broadhead's a little bit the same. He's not got that coolness, that or the little bit of technique. We've seen him try to get past the defender. He got past them and then tried to go around the goalkeeper, and he just didn't quite. And it is that little bit, and you just wonder whether at the age now, got 2 year new 2 year deal. Does he go on loan? Did he use him as a backup? Is he good enough as backup? I don't know. He's obviously had time in this tournament over the 2 games simply because we haven't got that many options. It would have been interesting to see what they would have done with him if we had that with Richarlison, we had that Dominic Calvert-Lewin, whether he would have got it, Yeah,
listen, I'd written him off totally.
He looks up for it.
What I'd say about him is, you're right, his movement's decent. He hasn't got loads of pace, but he gets there, if that makes sense. He's not slow, but he's not quick. So the movement is really important. Is he calm enough in front of goal? He has been at under 23 level, but I know that's playing against 17, 18-year-olds, so it's a little bit different. What I would say is, maybe alone, and then you see what he does. Okay, he's 23, and the caveat to that is Leon Bailey's 23, and I'm talking about paying 25 million, 30 million to get him. And Nathan's at the same age, but players can bloom at different times, maybe. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. If it was me, if I was him, I'd want to go on loan, I think, because I don't think he's not going to get in over the Richarlison or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Sitting as a sub on Everton's bench and maybe getting 10 minutes every now and again. Is he getting on the pitch before Damari Gray? I don't think so. Is he getting on the pitch before Andros Townsend? I don't think so. But if he goes on loan,
and applies that
and does the same thing, then I think maybe if he does, Everton will look and go, oh, I'll tell you what, he actually could be a good backup.
It would give them a decision to make possibly next summer, because obviously that's why they give him a 2-year contract. But I do like what he's got. I don't know whether it's good enough for Everton, but I do think showing what he's got, if he could go somewhere.
What is he? I think that's my thing.
You're right. You're right. I think he's but we don't have 9s. A lot of teams don't play with a 9 anymore.
No, but okay. But then, is he playing through the middle, or are you playing him off the? No,
I think he can play. I think he can play through the middle. Okay. But it depends. So you'd have to pick the right team, because if a team was like going back to front, then it'd be pointless. You'd need like a team that want to play intelligent football,
and try and get him in,
and him using that movement. Someone who threads it through midfield.
Which might be us.
And I think for him is, I think what I've noticed from him, he's the kind of player that, what you saw last night, he'll run across anywhere of the front, and then try and pick the ball up, and then beat that last defender. So you get into space and then beat the last defender, rather than getting behind the back line. Only he's got the pace to get behind the back line. But what I do think he's got is the pace and the movement to get into an area to then face up a centre back.
1v1.
Go one, and I do think he's got a trick then.
Well,
I think he could.
I think he needs to go on loan.
Championship, I'd say.
I think he'll have a career definitely.
Oh yeah, I think he's definitely got something. I just don't think he's got that little bit extra.
You've got to look at what you've got to remember with the Premier League is, and where Everton want to be, and where fans want Everton to be, is that they're the difference makers in the final third, 100%. And the difference makers cost money. And you look at teams we're chasing, and you look at Leicester. Say Leicester have got some real quality in a final third. You're looking at even teams like West Ham. Is he better than like Jarrod Bowen at West Ham? I mean, Liverpool are looking at Jarrod Bowen. So no, he's not better than him, and they're around us. You're looking at Leeds. Is he better than the likes of Rafinha or Jack Harrison? No. Is he better than Sadio Mane at Liverpool or Salah? No. And I know we've got players who aren't better than we do in our first team, but what I'm saying is that's the difference in that final third. Can he get to that? I don't know. But the only way to do that's to play games. I don't think at 23 he's got the time to be 6 and 7 minutes off the bench for Everton in the Premier League. I think he needs to go and play games because he went on loan, don't forget, to Burton a couple of years ago, and Nigel Clough was the manager, and he did okay. He was playing in midfield off the flank. I think he'd done all right and got an injury, and then it tailed off. And maybe if he'd have got that full season under his belt and carried on developing, we'd have had a better idea. I think now at 23, don't forget he was out of contract. Everton just looked at him and gone, might get a bit of money for him if we keep him. So if we can get him on loan, and then it'll be one or two things. He'll either go on loan, do well, or he'll go on loan, do well enough for a championship club to say, yeah, we'll have him for 2 million, and that's good for FFP.
Yeah. And with that, you hope as well that, going back to Anthony Gordon, that who's worked hard in both games, I think, and you just want him to almost look at him and go, I don't want to be in that position when I'm 23.
Yeah, 4 years.
You know what I mean? Like,
or 3 years. Yeah.
I want that. I want to be involved now. I want to show the because I think what Broadhead's got going for him is you see him. He looks like he's putting everything into it. He looks knackered. And you want that with Gordon as well, to just be like, I want to be here.
He needs Anthony, I think, for me, or certainly needs the first half of the season on loan. I don't think he's another one. It's great to go, we'll keep these kids with them, we'll just have them on the bench and all that, but is he sitting on the bench? I mean, City did it with Phil Foden. Yeah. I'm not saying he's the same level because he's clearly not, but Man City kept Phil Foden, who's 9. Don't forget to... You see, with Anthony Gordon and Nathan Broadhead, that's two totally different conversations, because you've just said it yourself, there's 4 years between them, and it is almost like, I don't want to be that. At 23, I want to be either here or I want to be someone's first choice winger. And he's got but Rafa Benitez might think he'll benefit more staying with me, so I can get him into how to stay in shape, what to do out of possession, when he's in possession, what's he doing, what choices, and maybe just right now that might benefit him from. But you want the lad playing games as well, because I think that's. But
he's definitely got the pace if he just simplifies his game and knows just to get in there,
beat him and do one or the other.
Yeah. So. It'll be interesting. There will be conversations over the next couple of weeks.
What I would say though about not necessarily just entry, but what we've seen so far in pre-season is the thing I've liked about it is there's a definite, clear picture, I think, of what they're trying to do.
Like an identity.
Yeah, almost like an identity. But even when the teams are being changed up, it's still there. The people shape know what is still there. People know, and I think that's what you get with Benitez. So, I've said it before, he's a better version of David Moyes. What I meant by that was David Moyes' teams always had structure. His team's got a structure. He's a better coach, clearly. He's won things and he's done great, good things and all that. But I think that's what I've noticed, is that even out of possession, you see where people know where they need to be. The nuances will come from, can players do stay on it all the time, like Mason Holgate still doing that thing where he's turning back all the time and hitting it without looking at times, and that's no good. Premier League, we saw Ollie Watkins have him like that at the home game.
It's training that out of there, isn't it?
And it's just, can we sharpen up things like Allen in the second half, just hitting the ball to anyone, because it's them kind of things. But I think, as on the whole, the structure is definitely there for the team.
The other person I just wanted to mention was obviously Jean-Philippe Gbamin. Another solid half from him. Looks physically better than anyone we've got. There was a few moments when he just got the ball and used his little bit of physicality, a little bit of pace to get himself out of trouble, and then move the ball into another area of the pitch, and then we get on with it. And it's just great to see him playing football. To be honest, it's good that they're taking the time with him, they're building it up, and hopefully, by the time we get to the start of the season, he's given the manager something to think about in terms of whether he's going to start, or whether this first game might be the League Cup game, which I imagine is normally the last week in August time, isn't it? So
well, Benitez spoke about him and said he's shown enough to be, he thinks he could be basically in the first team, regular and stuff, and that's what we want. So it is a new signing. The lads had unbelievable bad luck, but when you look at him, you can see why Everton why Marcel Brands wanted to bring him here. He's physically just ahead of so many players, not just Everton. I mean, he was up against them last night. He was just massive. And when you've got a player like that, and when he starts running, it's so difficult to stop. He's huge. Yeah. He's got a good passing range. If you think back to his time at Mainz, he was everywhere. Playing for Ivory Coast, he was everywhere. Played centre-back as well. So if he can stay fit, he'll be a hell of a footballer for Everton, because we haven't got anyone comparable to him. When you've got him and Decore in midfield, you've got the physicality and you've got mobility. I thought he was excellent. We saw him in and around the edge of the box quite a bit last night. It was almost at times like he was playing in the number 10 and Alan and Decore was sitting. So that was interesting to see him doing that. A couple of times, he had a couple of shots, didn't he? So for him, it'll be confidence, just playing games. Just simply playing football games.
Trusting his body.
Well, think about it. He come in, he had no pre-season. Got injured, thigh injury from having no rest after the African Cup of Nations. Was out for X amount of months. Came back, COVID hit. Am I right? So, he was out, wasn't he? He had 2 things. Come back, done his Achilles in. So played no football. And then, come back again. Starts training for a couple of weeks, gets on against Palace for 10 minutes, then gets a contract injury, and then doesn't play again. So now he's actually played 4 games, hasn't he? He's been involved in 4 games, which is more than he's done in 2 years. Yeah. So for him, I just mean
a proper
game
pre-season.
And the pre-season building up and the monitoring.
And obviously they'll be keeping a special eye on. He'll be,
So listen. As far as he's concerned, and as far as the club are concerned, he's fully fit, and he's doing what everyone else is doing. So if we can keep an eye on him and keep him fit and healthy, then we're gonna have a hell of a midfielder on our hands, because he's got all the tools. And
he, like you just said there, he is a new player, and with Gray and with Townsend, you suddenly look up and go, actually, we've got a little bit more, certainly, pace now in midfield.
Don't forget, this team finished a win off Europe. It finished 8 points off a Champions League place. So when people bag Everton out and our own fans are saying we're terrible with this, with that, we're not really. We're better than a lot of people think we are. Is it as nice as we want it to be? No. But like you just said, with Andres Townsend, with Damari Gray, with Jean-Philippe Gbamin, you can get it right back in, and we can squeeze percentages out of other players, because a manager's job isn't just to buy new players. A good coach makes the players you've got better. It's his responsibility. Rafa Benitez will make the players we've got better. So all in all, it was a good trip.
Yeah, decent performance. Good trip. Great for the American fans to get to see Everton a couple of times and play different kinds of teams, different kind of conditions.
Buy the new kit.
They'll have worked hard all week in the training. We know the sessions were tough. So yeah, good stuff. And obviously the next game isn't now till week Saturday against Manchester United, which obviously will be a tough game at Old Trafford ahead of the season. But it prepares you for the start of the season the week after. just over 2 weeks till the season starts, which is mad. Got my season ticket today as well through the door, which is good. Makes you feel all a little bit really. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on the game. Were you impressed by what you saw? Who are you optimistic about this season, and who do you think needs a wide berth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want more great videos, daily live videos, join us over on Patreon. The link is in the description and it's on the screen. See you later.